Is being recorded.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us during Virtual College Week for Florida Shines. My name is Nashla Dawari. I will be facilitating today's session, which is related to everything you need to know about dual enrollment and getting a jump start into college. Before we begin, I want to share a few items with you. If you have questions, you can put them in the question and answer box, and we will address them during the live Q&A at the end of the session or in a follow-up email. I want to let you know that closed captioning is provided for this session. You can click on the link provided in the chat box. This session will be recorded, so the recording along with any materials will be shared on our website, floridashines.org, after the session. And finally, we are live on Twitter, so feel free to share your comments and your questions and connect with us at FL Shines. Now, I'm excited to introduce our speaker this afternoon, Eileen Stork. She holds a master's degree in career and technical education from the University of South Florida and a Bachelor of Science degree in organizational management from Palm Beach Atlantic College. Eileen is also an alumni at Indian River Community College, and over the past 30 years, she has served numerous roles at Indian River. I'm going to tell you just a few: student advisement, career services, vocational industrial education, advanced technology, business technology, workforce development, enrollment management, just a wealth of well-rounded areas in education. She currently serves as the Dean over the Division of Student Enrollment and Student Services at Fort Pierce, the main campus. And this division encompasses advising, financial aid, career and transfer services, curriculum services. Oh my goodness, the list goes on, Eileen. You have a lot of areas that are so relevant for this particular topic under your purview. We're excited and honored to have you. As I mentioned, she's here to share with us information about dual enrollment and everything you need to know about getting started early. So Eileen, the floor is yours. And Eileen, if you are listening to me now, you're muted, so let's try it again.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the great introduction. I'm excited to be here tonight and appreciate everybody taking time out of, a very busy Monday to just learn a little bit more about dual enrollment and how that can be beneficial to you. So to get started, let me just easily say dual enrollment is dual credit. It's kind of self-explanatory, but there's still some confusion sometimes amongst our students who are interested in dual enrollment. You do earn high school credit as a dual enrolled student, and you also earn college credit. I had a student just last week who thought that they had to take the classes and the college classes at the same time in order to get the dual credit. So if you take the college credit class, you are getting high school credit and college credit for it at the same time. What a bargain. And your dual enrollment courses are weighted the same in high school as the other accelerated mechanisms that your school may offer, such as honors, advanced placement, international baccalaureate, and your ACE classes. So they enhance your GPA in the exact same way as all of those other programs do. The credits that you take for dual enrollment as a dual enrolled student are accepted for transfer at Florida public universities. Florida is on what they call the State Common Course Numbering System. So if a university has what our freshman level English, for instance, ENC 1101 is our course number, and the university offers ENC 1101, that is the exact same course, and it will transfer readily to the university. So that's a real bonus as well. We're all on the same numbering system, so it's easy to see what transfers from your local state college to your university. So why should a student dual enroll? I don't know if any parents are also listening tonight, but there's a wealth of benefits for having students be participating in the dual enrollment program at their high school. As mentioned earlier, it does provide high school students the opportunity to earn college credits while they're a dual enrolled student, and those credits count towards their high school credits. It also challenges students academically and decreases time to an associate degree. The courses the students take as a dual enrolled student they are college credit classes. The rigor is there just like any other college credit class. It is not changed in any way, shape, or form because a dual enrolled student is sitting in that classroom. It is still a college level course. When you think about your other classes, your AP and your IB, those are rigorous high school classes. They are not college credit classes, and you do not earn the college credit right away through those other programs. When you're in a dual enrollment program, if you pass the college credit class, those college credits are yours. So, and it is college level coursework. Again, it challenges students and provides more opportunities for additional options in academia as well as other technical courses. There's no cost to the student for public high school and homeschool students to participate. You do not have to pay a tuition fee. You do not have to pay for your textbooks. Those fees are waived and or absorbed through other means. And dual enrollment courses are offered on college campuses. They're offered on local high school campuses, and you can also take advantage of online coursework. If one of your courses is an online course, you are eligible to take that as a dual enrollment student. One thing you may need to be aware of for the online programs, every school district has a specific articulation agreement over and above the general program eligibility requirements. The local agreement may indicate additional criteria for online courses. Sometimes some school districts don't like their brand new students to take an online course. They want to see if they're successful first as a college level student before allowing them to take an online course, because the responsibilities in an online course are different than a face-to-face class. So that would be the only caveat I would say about your online courses for dual enrollment, but they are eligible for dual enrollment and you are more than welcome to take them. Bear with me. We will get to these other slides. Okay. All right, very good. So we talked about dual enrollment giving you an opportunity to accelerate college completion. So if you think about it, you're getting started in college while you're in high school. So of course you're going to be a step ahead of somebody who has not participated in the dual enrollment program when they graduate high school. But the impact of how further along you may be is significant. Dual enrollment students' time to degree is nearly half of that compared to students who enter without dual enrollment credit. Now overall, through the Florida college system, those students in dual enrollment complete faster when they earn dual enrollment credits. And you can see in the graph below, the ones in blue are your dual enrolled students, and those are the years, 2.8 years, 2.7 years, 2.8, 2.5, and 2.9, compared to your traditional students who come directly from high school and then start their college program. You're looking at 4.5 years, 4.5 years, 4.8, 4.6, and 4.3. So you can see that you get out quicker, which saves you time and money and makes you employed individual sooner, so you can start making those paychecks and having a life. So it does help with college completion. The other benefit, of course, is the cost factor. So let's do the math and what that's all about. So through the Florida college system, the approximate cost for one credit will be approximately $110. At Indian River State College, it's 103. Other colleges may need more than 110. So let's just go with 110 to make it easy for the math. Most college courses are 3 credit hours. So, and books on average are about $200 per class. So if you take the 110 per credit times the 3 credits per class, you get $330 per class, right? So that's one course. 330 plus your 200 for your textbooks, one course is going to cost you around $530. So if you're a dual enrolled student and you take even just one class as a dual enrolled student, you could be saving up to approximately $530. Now, associate's degree, an associate in arts degree, is 60 credits. Think about how much you can save if you completed more dual enrollment credits, even half that, even 30 credits, how further along you would be in the savings category by participating in a dual enrollment program. It's considered Florida's largest scholarship program, and it certainly is worth it. You can also participate in career dual enrollment for courses that will lead to an industry certification. We have clock hour programs that are approved for dual enrollment, which are vocational classes, and as well as AS degrees, associate in science degrees, which again, a 2-year associate's degree is going to lead you into the workforce. So you can do those courses for dual enrollment as well. And the majority of them do lead you into some type of an industry certification. And that credential is yours as you complete the courses and take the tests that are required for the industry certification. Now, some of you may already be enrolled in a career academy, maybe at your high school, and the Career Academy provides you with an opportunity to get some vocational skills training and take the industry certification with your high school. That's fine too, and that's another accelerated mechanism that I'll just mention here, that if you have an industry certification, there's a list of gold standard industry certifications that if you earn them, you are guaranteed college credit for that industry certification. So please know that if you're working with your local colleges and stop in, ask them about whatever certifications you have and ask, can you get college credit for those industry certifications? It's another benefit for accelerated mechanisms. Easily you can go to the FLDOE website, fldoe.org, and 2 things. Type in dual enrollment in the search box, and there's a wealth of information there for you, or fldoe.org and type in industry certifications, and you'll find a wealth of information there as well. So early admissions, that's a special type of dual enrollment student. The early admissions student is one who does their dual enrollment classes on a full-time basis. Early admissions allows them to come to the college and take all of their classes and not have to take any classes at their high school. The criteria is they must be in a minimum of 12 college credit hours. 12 credits is considered full-time on a college campus, but they cannot take more than 15 credits. So 12 credits would equate to about 4 classes. 15, of course, would be 5 classes. So that would be an early admit student. Now, they have to have completed at least 4 semesters at the high school level. So it's like your first and second semester as a freshman and your first and second semester as a sophomore before you could be considered for early admissions. Most students do early admissions by the time they hit their senior year if they're going to be doing early admissions. It's usually not until they're a senior, but certainly no earlier than their junior year because they won't have those high school semesters in. But that's a really nice opportunity. We have a number of students who do early admissions, and here at Indian River, we had close to 400 students who graduated with their associate in arts degree before they graduated high school. They participated in early admissions, either as a second semester junior or a senior. and got all of their credits done for their associate's degree. Now, that's super high achievers. Even if you can get up to 30 credits in the dual enrollment program, that is quite an accomplishment and quite a savings on your part as well. So, okay, so you're excited about dual enrollment. You want to know if you're eligible. Very good. First up, to be eligible, the state says you have to be enrolled in 6th through 12th grade. Now, as I mentioned earlier, each of the school districts has a separate local articulation agreement, and in the agreement, it may state 9th through 12th grade. But technically, the state says 6th through 12th grade. So check with your local school district to see what your articulation agreements state as to what year you can start as a dual enrolled student. And remember, you have to have those high school GPA in order to participate. And some middle schools are giving high school credit at this point. So to do college credit classes, you have to have a minimum of a 3.0 unweighted GPA. Now, we had talked about dual enrollment providing weighted GPA, much like ACE, AP, and IB. But for the sake of getting into the program, you have to have a 3.0 unweighted GPA, just straight calculations, to be considered for college credit classes. Those will be for classes that pertain to an associate in arts degree or an associate in science degree, as well as moving into a baccalaureate degree. For students with a 2.0 or somewhere between a 2.0 and a 3.0, you can still participate in dual enrollment as well. You can participate in the vocational clock hour programs. Now, there's many programs that are approved for dual enrollment, things like welding, air conditioning, automotive. If those are offered at your local campuses on a clock hour basis, those are approved for dual enrollment as well. And the GPA required is a 2.0 for those classes. Students have to take a placement test to determine if they're indeed college ready. Now, the placement test, everybody's familiar with the ACT and SAT. A lot of prep work goes on for students in high school to prepare for your SAT or your ACT. But at the Florida College System, we administer the PERT exam. It is also a college readiness test, and it will let us know if you are ready for college coursework or not. So you take the PERT exam and see if you meet the cutoff scores to participate in a college program, along with your GPA. Now, students under 18 years of old require written approval from both their parents, of course, and their high school administrator, whether it be a high school counselor or a principal, whoever has oversight of your dual enrollment program at the high school. Most schools have lengthy forms that you need to fill out outlining the program. Again, much of the things that I'm going over right now, they fill in the blanks on what your placement scores are, what your GPA is, and then everybody signs off on it, the student included, just to make sure everybody knows what the requirements are and everybody's on the same page as to what the expectations are for dual enrolled students as well. But that's pretty much it on who's eligible. So what does that mean statewide? What's our impact? Through the Florida College System, you can see what the course enrollment is like statewide. It is a very popular program, and as I mentioned earlier, the state's largest scholarship program, called that because there is no cost to the student. So you can see, we'll look at these first three right here. So red is our Black students who are participating in dual enrollment. Yellow is our Hispanic and Latino. And then this gold are our white students who are enrolled in dual enrollment. And that's the majority makeup of the dual enrollment program and the majority of our school systems. So one thing that we are looking at, you can see the big gap between our students that are Black and our white students. The difference is just huge. We know there's a lot of very bright Black students out there, and we are working very hard to encourage more students to get involved in dual enrollment and see themselves as college students and support them along the way to make sure they experience success in the dual enrollment program. We really want to close these gaps here so that everybody has equal opportunity to participate in dual enrollment. It's such a wonderful program. So things that you also have to take into consideration. So let's say you made it into the program, you have the GPA, you're in your class, everything's great. What do you have to keep on your mind as a dual enrolled student? Remember, you are a college student when you're enrolled in the dual enrollment program. You are a college student. Your grades that you earn in your college classes become part of your permanent college transcript. Now, your grades will match whatever goes on your college transcript. That's going to be sent to your high school, and that will go to your high school transcript as well. So this isn't an opportunity to, well, let me try it out, and if it doesn't work, I won't do it if I'm unsuccessful. You shouldn't take that approach. Just know that what you're doing is serious, and you are going to be in a college program, and you are creating an official legal document on your college transcript. Okay, so all the same rules apply because you are a college student when you are dual enrolled. In the unlikely event that you have an unsuccessful grade, it could be a failing grade, but it may be a W, like this transcript right here. This student got a W for withdrawal on their transcript. Whatever the reason, things come up. It may not be that you were unsuccessful due to any lack on your part, but life happens, and sometimes you may have to relocate to a different but local school district. You may have had a serious medical situation come up that prevented you from attending your classes, which led to your inability to be successful because you couldn't attend. Any number of things can come up where you end up being unsuccessful. But just know that every class that you take counts towards your future financial aid opportunities. When you earn financial aid as a college student, there's a lifetime maximum, and every attempt counts for as you go through your college coursework. One good thing about this, though, because colleges understand that life happens, they have what they call grade forgiveness. So if you repeat the course in which you were unsuccessful, your most recent attempt is what will count towards your college degree and for your college GPA for your degree. The credits will count towards your financial aid. However, you do have that grade forgiveness, and they will not calculate the one prior. If you were unsuccessful, it will be your most recent attempt. So that's a good thing. We recognize that life happens. Because there may be an opportunity where you need to take a course a second time due to a previous lack of success, just check with your school district to see what their retake policies are. They may vary from one school district to another, but please do just check on that. The colleges through the Florida College System has grade forgiveness for course retakes, but check with your high school because they may have individual policies for dual enrolled students for retakes. Another thing, not all courses are approved for dual enrollment. For instance, PE, phys ed classes are not approved for dual enrollment. College preparatory classes are not approved for dual enrollment. And courses in applied music like piano lessons or guitar lessons at the college level, those are not approved for dual enrollment. Additionally, courses that are less than 3 credits, for instance, 1 credit classes, ordinarily are not approved for dual enrollment. The courses that you take at the college level must equate to a high school credit. So a 3-credit college class, for instance, let's go back to the ENC 1101 example, the freshman English. That's a 3-credit college level course. What you will get credit for is an English class. You will get 1 high school credit for a 3-credit English class. Now, another example would be a student success class. Here at Indian River, we make all of our dual enrolled students take what we call SLS 1101, and that's our student success class. We want to get you started on the right foot. It is also 3 college credits, but it equates to a half a credit at the high school level as an elective. So there are differences in what you take at the college level and how that's going to equate to your high school graduation credits that you'll need. And you'll work very closely with your high school counselor to determine that what you're taking through dual enrollment is indeed going to count towards your high school graduation and for how many credits. Again, you can also go to the fldoe.org website and type in dual enrollment, and the list of all of the approved courses and how many credits it equates to at the high school level is listed there as well. I encourage you to do that if you're wondering. So I talked about the college courses being extremely rigorous if you're in a dual enrollment program, and they are, but I want you to see the passing rate for the courses for students that participate in dual enrollment, broken down also, again, by race and ethnicity. I'll let you look at this for a minute to kind of absorb it, and then we'll talk a little bit about awarding of credits for students that pass their classes. Okay, so starting at the top, you have students who are dual enrolled and identified themselves as 2 or more races, had a passing rate of 86%. Let's see, Native, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, the next 3, white, and Hispanic and Latino, all were 88%. Black students passed at a rate of 85%, along with American Indian and Native American Alaskans, and then Asians passed their dual enrollment courses at a rate of 90%. All of these are exceptionally well passing rates through the college program, and these are dual enrolled students, and this is how well they're doing. Our dual enrolled students have very successful pass rates. One thing that, let's see, I'll get into that. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure I clarify this because we get this question a lot. Advanced placement is, as well as IB, they're very popular programs in the high schools, and high achieving students enroll in those programs at their high school. And that's great. It's a lot of work. Talked with a lot of students who are in these programs, and parents are usually concerned about, should I have my student in AP or dual enrollment or IB? One of the biggest differences between those courses, those programs, and the dual enrollment program is the fact that students can go through an IB and an AP program, pass all of their classes, do very well, and then they have to take the exam, and they have to get a certain score on those exams, somewhere between a 3, 4, or a 5, depending upon the discipline. A student oftentimes can go through the whole program in advanced placement and not pass the exam at that level. Those students will not get the college credit for the work that they did in AP. They'll get the high school credit, which is fine, and they'll get the weighted GPA at the high school, which is also a bonus, but they will not get the college credit if they don't pass that, get the right score on that exam after the course is over. And you can go to the College Board website, and that explains it a little more. But when you're in a dual enrollment college level class, you do earn your high school credit. You do earn college credit if you pass the class. And you saw those pass rates in the previous slide. They're very high. You pass the class, you get the college credit. There may be a final exam at the end of the class, a comprehensive exam. There may be a final project at the end of the class that you have to pass. But whatever that instructor deems that indicates that you have passed that coursework, when you get that grade on that final course for whatever course it is you're enrolled in, those are your credits on your college credit transcript. Your dual enrollment grades do count towards your college and high school grade point average. And again, dual enrollment courses are weighted the same as the other accelerated mechanisms that are offered through the high schools. And the credits are accepted for transfer at Florida public universities. I just wanted to emphasize that again. We touched on it early on, but now maybe it's making a little more sense. But again, through the Common Course numbering system that we have with the public state universities, there's no question as to the content of the course that you took. ENC 1101 is ENC 1101 no matter where you took it. MAC 1105 is MAC 1105 no matter where you took it. Okay, so I hope that clarifies some things for you. There's other things that I'm sure you have questions about on dual enrollment, and I am happy to address any of those that you may have at this time.
Thank you so much, Eileen. I am going to invite our audience to send in their questions in the Q&A box, so we'll open that up. There are already a few questions that I'd love to ask you. I want to thank you, first of all, for sharing your expertise today. I'm still thinking about your slide where you could potentially save $530 per class. That's amazing, especially when you can get college credit at no cost, and then several flexible ways to take that particular class depending on what your district may offer. So that, plus the fact that you could potentially complete half of an associate's degree by the time you graduate from high school, certainly all benefits to considering that program if you're eligible. So I'll invite our audience in. Eileen, the first set of questions is related to tests. And so do students need all the PERT, ACT, and SAT scores in order to qualify?
You don't need to take all three. You only need to take one of those tests, either the PERT, the ACT, or the SAT, but you do have to take all three sections so that we know what your skill level is in English, reading, and math, because that will determine your placement in the general education classes when you come to take your college credit courses.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue into the next question related to placement. Does the PSAT count as one of the placement tests?
No, it does not.
Okay, great question. There's a couple of questions related to weighted GPA for dual enrollment and how that works. If you wouldn't mind going over that information again and what's counted for eligibility.
Let me just go back to that PSAT question. Your PSAT is a really good indicator as to where you may need to strengthen some of your skill sets before participating in dual enrollment and taking that SAT. That will give you a really good idea because the cutoff scores for your SAT, they're available to you through your high school or your local college. They can tell you what your score needs to be in those discipline areas when you take the SAT, so you can see how far you are from that cutoff when you take your PSAT. So it won't count for placement, but it will be an excellent indicator to see where you need to strengthen up as you move forward. So that was a good question. Thanks for letting me take that a little further for you. Regarding the GPA questions, the weighted GPA on AP, ACE, IB, and dual enrollment, I am not an expert on how the GPA is actually calculated mathematically. I do know that they are all calculated the same way. So if you take a dual enrollment course and you're in an AP course, the student who gets an A in their AP course and the student that gets an A in their dual enrollment course, those courses are going to be calculated into the student's high school GPA with the same weight at the same level. Again, I don't know the mathematical calculations, but they carry the same weight. One is not higher than the other. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, hopefully that helps, and I'll invite the audience if they have any follow-up questions to send them in. Related to exams, Eileen, potentially a student who's self-studying for more lab-centered AP exams like chemistry or physics, can they impact the courses that they're awarded credit for, specifically lab credit, if they're taking those exams?
if they're taking an AP exam, they're doing their AP courses, and they take the end of course exam that AP puts out through the College Board, and they pass it, there is a scoring, depending upon what their score is for that, to determine what course that would be equivalent to. And that's all out at the College Board website for advanced placement. So it would just depend what course they took, what their score was, and what credit they would get for that at the college level. But we do bring in AP credit into the Florida college system. We do bring in IB credit into the Florida college system, ACE credit into the Florida college system, as well as I talked about the industry certifications. You would get awarded college credit for any industry certifications that you have that are listed on the gold standard industry. Adults, if any parents are listening, many colleges also do what's called prior learning assessment. And if you have been in a certain industry for any number of years, 5, 10 years, doing the same thing, and you have a tremendous skill set in the area that you're working, many of the colleges will do an assessment on your work experience and award you college credit for that as well. And Indian River is one of those colleges that will work with you on that.
Okay, so always good to know options and verify that they're taking the right course or potentially the right test for the credit that they're hoping to get, and getting the appropriate score as well. Eileen, I will move over to the topic of timing, and so a couple of questions related to that. One of them is, can students start doing dual enrollment or taking dual enrollment courses during or after the first semester of the school year? Meaning, can they drop classes in high school and potentially replace them and take them at their local college campus? Is that usually something that's recommended?
Well, again, there's local articulation agreements where each school district works very closely with their Florida State College. Yes, in some instances, I know we have some programs where the students can start in their second semester of 9th grade. You have to have that high school GPA to determine if you're eligible for dual enrollment, right? So you have to have at least one semester under your belt. A lot of schools won't start their dual enrollment program until the students have completed their full freshman year, because freshman year can be challenging, and just transitioning from middle school to high school can have a lot of demands on students as well, and then to take on a college level program. In other instances, we have found where that's not such a good idea. So is it possible? Yes. Do most schools do it that way? No. So you just have to check with your local high school as to what their agreement says with their local state college. Here in St. Lucie County, we just started a program, the START program, where St. Lucie County is starting a dual enrollment program for their freshmen in their second semester, so they have that GPA, but we're growing our own teachers. So we're working very closely with the St. Lucie County School District and our School of Education for our baccalaureate program. And the goal is to get those students started in dual enrollment in 9th grade, doing dual enrollment through their 4 years in high school so that they have that associate in arts degree when they graduate high school and can transition right into the baccalaureate program and School of Education here at Indian River State College. And they would end up with their baccalaureate degree at 2 years out of high school and be able to teach in the school district, and they would be guaranteed a job here in St. Lucie County. So that's one of those programs, specific cohort programs that we've developed, and I'm sure many of the other Florida colleges are working in concert with their school districts as well for similar things for students with dual enrollment opportunities, but that's just one example.
Absolutely. So you mentioned timing. Certainly check with your district to see if spring or mid-year is acceptable or recommended. And so that's good to know. And then in terms of timing, even broader, ninth grader, 10th graders, what is their record? You mentioned something about your junior year, Eileen. What is recommended, and then what can you do in ninth grade if you have all of your credits completed for high school?
I'm not sure I follow you. What can you do in ninth grade if you have all your credits completed for high school?
Yeah, I was reading the question to make sure I understood it as well. But essentially, and I'm grouping questions together related to timing, Eileen, what would be the best time to start thinking about taking dual enrollment courses, and what's the earliest a student can enroll in a dual enrollment class?
Okay. I've seen many of the colleges are absolutely comfortable and 100% supportive of students starting dual enrollment in 11th grade, right? 2 years, your 11th and 12th grade year, go full speed ahead on dual enrollment. However, many also, like Indian River, does allow 10th graders to start dual enrollment as well. It really is, if the school districts don't have an issue or haven't written into their articulation agreement that we'd allow students to start at such and such a year, it's really on an individual basis, a student's maturity level to handle dual enrollment coursework, to sit in a classroom with a bunch of other college students, to be mature enough to ask the professor questions and not feel intimidated in a college environment. Content is another thing. Sometimes there's some serious discussions and things in a college level that you would not find in a high school level. So oftentimes maturity level needs to be taken into consideration. And when there's no restrictions at the school district level as to can they start in 10th grade or do they need to start in 11th grade, taking that off the table, it's really a conversation between the high school counselor, the student, and the parent. And is this student ready for college credit coursework? They may be extremely bright and have the GPA, have the placement scores, but there's that other piece sometimes that needs to be considered as well. So I hope that helps. It's going to vary. There's no one straight answer, start in 9th, start in 10th, start in 11th. You have opportunities, but every student is different. Every school district is different. So you just have to look at that holistically and figure out where each student is and what's going to be best for them. What we're looking for is we want to make sure students are going to be successful, those that can take advantage of the program. It's an excellent program. They'll get the supports they need when they're in the college credit class. They're not treated any differently than a college student, and we want them to be successful. So if there is any concern that maybe this is not a perfect match, maybe wait a semester or wait until you're in 10th or 11th grade. It's going to be very individualized if there's no other restrictions at the district level.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned, Eileen, they officially become college students, and so certainly thinking about that and all aspects of it. Eileen, I'll ask one more question related to industry certification. So a student who perhaps is a part of an IT academy and they pass a Security Microsoft certification, you mentioned there are institutions that may award credit for that. Can you explain how that would work?
Yes, absolutely. Any high school student who's in an academy that gets an industry certification, we call it Career Pathways credits. And you can go out to the FLDOE website and type in Gold Standard Industry Certification. And that will give you a link to all of the industry certifications that are approved for guaranteed college credit. So you would just have to match whatever your industry certification is with that laundry list that's out there and approved, and it's separated by category, so it's easy to find. Just make sure your number matches what's on the list, and then it's got an explanation. There's a PDF for every one of those certifications telling you what degree program it's going to be associated with, how many credits you will get at the college level for that industry certification, and it's a minimum of so many credits. It provides the Florida College to award more than that minimum if they so choose after they look and see what the industry certification is. So, but you have to be going into the program that is associated with that industry certification in order to get the credit. So you can't get an IT certification and then go into a healthcare program and use those credits towards healthcare. You have to take your industry certification, be it IT, and get into one of the IT programs at the college level so they're aligned with each other. Okay, we want to make sure every credit you're earning is counting towards what you're trying to achieve. So, and those are guaranteed by the state. Every single Florida college has to give you whatever the credit is indicated on that PDF for that industry certification, provided you're going into the program that's aligned with that certification. It's a real bonus for students in the high schools that are going through those programs.
Absolutely, just lots of ways to earn credit and make progress towards your degree. Eileen, thank you so much. Those are all the questions we have, but I do want to remind our audience that if you didn't get to submit your question, you can certainly connect with us at help@flvc.org, and we'll help you answer them, or route them to Eileen if you don't mind, if it's a specific question, so that you can get the help you need to get started in the dual enrollment process. So again, Eileen, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. You shared a lot of helpful information today. To our audience, I want to remind you that this session, along with the materials for today, will be posted on floridashines.org. And I want to invite you to check out all of the other topics we have this evening and for the next couple of days at virtualcollegeweek.org. Topics anywhere from financial aid to career planning, learning how to fill out the FAFSA, information about attending a technical center, as we mentioned today. And for those of you with some college, we'll also tell you a little bit about completing your degree with Complete Florida. So definitely check out the sessions at virtualcollegeweek.org. Thank you for participating today. And for those of you that are sophomores and juniors, we will see you for our annual event at Virtual College Week next year. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Good night.